Very nice.
Very nice.
It's Breaking the News with Des Clark.
I am Des Clark, and this is Breaking the News, the show that breaks the week's news and asks four opinionated panellists to put it back together again. And joining me this week is comedian and actor Miles Jupp, and with him is comic, writer and stand-up Janie Godley. And facing off against them is stand-up and writer Olga Koch, and joining her is comedian Stuart Mitchell. In the news this week, the UK and EU have said serious differences remain over a post-Brexit trade deal as the latest talks come to an end in Brussels. The two sides couldn't even agree on what to have for their final meal during the negotiations. The EU wanted pizza, while Britain demanded all the fish caught in UK waters. A mahogany bedside cabinet designed by Charles Rennie Mackintosh has sold for £250,000 at auction. There were some suspicions, though, that the cabinet might be fake when it arrived with a set of instructions and an Allen key. And people gathered on the streets of America again overnight, chanting 4 more years as they discovered exactly how long it would take Pennsylvania to count their votes. Right, you've met the panel. Let's crack on with round one. This is the Broken News round, where our teams have to guess 2 major stories of the week that have been mashed together into one single news headline. So, Miles and Janie, can you tell me our first story, please?
The outcome of the American
lockdown
remains on a knife edge, with
Central Belt Council areas and Dundee
yet to declare their results. Earlier,
John Swinney
claimed he'd already won.
It comes as
President Trump
has been banned in licensed premises for at least a month.
Janie, I'm going to come to you first. What are we talking about?
I think we're talking about my gorgeous boyfriend Donald and his refusal to accept things are happening in an election.
There we go. That's the correct answer, Janie. Well done. It is the news that, at the time of recording, the outcome of the US presidential election is still unknown, with Donald Trump and rival Joe Biden still fighting it out in key states. Now, on the election night, Mr. Trump claimed to have won and vowed to launch a Supreme Court challenge.
Sorry, that was me. That was me having a flashback.
Miles, are you counting the votes in Pennsylvania? Is that what's happening?
I am. Yes. I had no idea how many people lived here.
On the election night, Mr. Trump claimed to have won and vowed to launch a Supreme Court challenge. Donald Trump quickly filed lawsuits in 3 different states, those states being angry, furious and absolutely raging. What do you make of this? Should we be surprised that he is contesting the election, or indeed does he have a case?
He's going to be dragged out of that White House with all these Melanias, and he's not going to be happy until he sues every single person that voted for Joe Biden. But he's not going to go without a screaming, and his children, they're all crying on the news and shouting, my dad was brilliant as well. And it's just...
In terms of when we're going to air, it's still completely up in the air at the moment. We do know certain things. Joe Biden has won the popular vote. And in fact, the stats in this are amazing. Joe Biden has officially received more votes in the presidential election than any candidate in US history. That's more votes than Washington, Lincoln, and everybody else that he went to school with. What have you made of it, Miles? Obviously, it's the question of the election. And then, after that, where does the US go from here?
Well, he will lose, Trump. He must do. Really, I would like him to be carried out in much the same way that Assange was carried out of the Ecuadorian embassy. That, to me, would really make the picture. I don't want him to have the luxury of getting into a sort of big car and driving out through the gate. I want him to be shouting and screaming, and bigger men to be carrying him down the drive and beyond the sort of wall that he's made.
Well, Olga, what about you? What's your reading of this? You probably have a better knowledge of America and politics there than any of us.
Well, if I'm being completely honest, as a person who was born in Russia, it's a thrill to watch an election, the outcome of which I cannot predict.
I know.
Honestly, you said that maybe Biden got the most votes in a U.S. election, but he's definitely not the person who got the most votes in any election, because I'll tell you who that is.
Did you find it fascinating and confusing, Olga, that there was more than one name on the ballot paper? But what happens now, though, in terms of the states? Can they recover from this no matter who wins?
My biggest fear is just simply how old the two of them are.
You choose your vice, your running mate really well, I think. And I think like Kamala Harris, for instance, I think there'll be a sense where people are saying, do look after yourself. Just get ready. Nothing will happen, but it might be worth just, might be worth having a plan of your own, just if for any reason, just say, all I'm saying is just, please be ready. Please be ready.
Stuart Mitchell, it's been a big week in American politics. What have you made of it, pal?
Well, I'm the same in terms of how old the candidates are. I mean, it's no White Houses they should be entering, it's sheltered houses. That could be one.
Well, Olga, it runs and runs. We've seen this before with Bush and Gore back in the day, and this could go on even longer in the Supreme Court. So what happens if the election doesn't work? Voting won't solve it. Olga, how would you decide this election?
I guess I would say that I would put them both in front of me, and I would try to explain the app TikTok to them, and whoever stays up the longest without falling asleep becomes president. As soon as your eyes glaze over, you're out.
You're gone. Game over.
It should be whichever one of them is more able to change the clock on a kitchen oven. Essentially. It's that sort of job. Right.
Donald Trump was hoping to hold Carolina, but unfortunately there's a no-touching policy at the lap dancing club. The US election is the right answer. Well done, Miles and Janie. You get 2 points for that. So, do we have any sense of our second story? Any thoughts on it, Stuart?
Well, this is in relation to the tier system in Scotland, and then you've got the alternative lockdown in England.
Absolutely right, yeah. And that is big news this week. It is the news that a new 5-level system of restrictions is now in force across Scotland, with different measures in place in different parts of the country. This as England has just entered a new nationwide lockdown that will last a month. Yes, it is the big question. Should we have a national lockdown or tiers? Well, if you start drinking gin at lunchtime, you can have both. And Stuart, what about you in terms of the two systems, lockdown versus the tiered-based system? Any benefits to either?
It's a strange one in terms of Nicola Sturgeon. She's been put under a lot of pressure in terms of furlough as well, because she wanted to introduce furlough, but then she doesn't know if she's going to get that 80%, and that's where the real contention was in terms of if she could get that. But typical Nicola, she just kept asking the question again and again until she got the right answer.
And she did, as Rishi Sunak has come out and said that furlough is available for all of the UK at 80% until March. And obviously there's this debate, Olga. I don't know where you fit into this. I guess you're in lockdown where you are, but it's the tiered system versus lockdown, and maybe why the tiered system might be better.
I don't know. I always liked Scotland. As I mentioned, I was born in Russia, and I feel like Russia and Scotland have a lot in common. It's very cold. It gets dark soon. We all think that casual alcoholism is personality. So that's fun. And what I love about all those rules is that they all just hinge on alcohol. Like, that's really the big difference. Like, where and when and whom with are we still allowed to drink?
And what about it then, Janie? So we're moving to this system now in Scotland, which is the tiered system, which is now in place. England going into lockdown. What, you think the tiered system might be doing better for us here, or is it eachy peachy?
Every single time I have to do something outside, I have to keep checking my phone to see if I'm allowed out. It's like the government is my mammy, and I'm like, am I allowed out? Am I supposed to be out today? Am I allowed on a bus? Am I allowed to go? No, I'm not. Right, okay, back in the house again.
So I live in Wales now, so where I am now. So we're on a different system to England and Scotland. So we're on a fire break lockdown, and so that ends for us on Monday. But then we'll be ready to play, and everyone else is still indoors. So it's slightly unfair on us. The thought of gyms. Gyms, for that to be seen as frippery, and a gym not to be considered essential, you know, someone like me, a lot of what my whole career is based on essentially is just like being buff. You know, it's all part of my quest for fabulousness, and that's the thing that I miss, I suppose, is just chatting to the guys, you know, when we're benching, and that really I am missing. That I find very difficult.
Well, on the lockdown topic, because obviously people in England are perhaps wary of it, many opposing the idea, is it possible to have a good lockdown?
I think maybe me in the past thought so, but right now I'm in my flat and it's just a museum of all the people that I thought I would be but never became. It's like I have a keyboard that I haven't touched.
Oh.
At some point, I genuinely thought I would be building computers by hand. I don't know what gave me that confidence. More yeast that I know what to do with. It's
where it came
haunting.
from.
Yeah. Is it possible to have a good lockdown?
Well, I think it is, especially if you're financially supported. I mean, yeah, me, like 3 million others, have sort of been excluded from any self-employment support since March. So, I mean, it got so bad yesterday, Marcus Rashford bought me my lunch.
Interestingly, Strictly Come Dancing is to carry on through the new lockdown in England. So if you're worried you might be in breach of the new guidelines, just do the Charleston with somebody who used to be in Holby City and you should be all right. You're well covered there. Right, well done, Olga and Stuart. You get 2 points for that. It was the mashup of the presidential election in America and COVID restrictions in the UK. And at the end of that round, the teams are on 2 points apiece. Now, so much of our news is about public opinion, and this week we spoke to two friends of the show, the Queen of Scottish Crime, Val McDermid, and Bobby the barman himself, Gavin Mitchell. So, Olga and Stuart, what story do you think Gavin is on about here?
I suppose the substance that would be examined, it comes in various consistencies, styles, if you will. I don't know if I would find this method relaxing as such. Messy? Some people might find it positively sensual.
Any ideas what he was on about?
I think he's talking about using earwax to test stress.
It is the news that your earwax could be a window into your stress levels, researchers have suggested. A study of 37 participants has shown a build-up of the stress hormone cortisol can be measured from the oily secretions around your ear canal. I mean, I don't know if this theory is correct, but I do know that the one thing that's more likely to make me stressed is a stranger asking for my earwax. You know,
I literally have depression coming out of my ears.
Stuart, are you surprised that these findings, the earwax, can tell you so much about your stress levels and state of mind?
Well, I think you need to remember that they only did study 37 participants. So, I mean, it was meant to be 100, but the other 63 had so much wax they couldn't hear the doorbell. But
But here's the question. Obviously, we're talking about earwax, finding a way to figure out if you're stressed or not. How do you know, Stuart, when you're stressed?
I actually don't get that stressed, ever. Never get stressed. The only time I get stressed is like I try to put lining paper up in our bedroom, and I get stressed with that because it's honestly it's got so many bubbles. My room looks like an indoor climbing frame.
Janie, what about this? Who'd have thought we'd be talking about this? But earwax can tell you about your stress levels. What about that?
Well, I'm a woman who's never done having a poke in my ear with a cotton bud. Hence, I get dizzy and get labyrinthinitis.
Oh.
But I'm the person that has a poke into my ear with a cotton bud. And you know how when you go quite deep and you go, ow, and you think you've touched your reset button?
Also, just reading further into the study, they're saying 2 of the major causes of stress are losing your job and moving house. Going to be a hard week for Donald Trump, isn't it? His ears will be manky. Your earwax can tell you about your state of mind. What do we think about that, Miles?
I'm slightly sort of touchy around the ears. I went recently to this sort of Turkish barber near where I live, And they said, do you want us to do your nose and your ears? And I said, yeah, that'd be great. And then they went and got the biggest cotton buds I've ever seen. And they heated up some, like a black wax, almost like furniture polish, put the cotton buds, the big jumbo cotton buds in them, and then went and stuck one in each ear and one in each nostril. So, you know in Blackadder when he's pretending to be mad and he's got the cotton buds, pencils up his nose? It was like that. And they put them in and then they left them for about 10 minutes, right, while they set. And I was going, right, what happens now then? They go, we wait for it to dry and then we pull them out. And I thought, oh, no. And there's a guy behind me saying, I've had that done. It's not very painful. And I look at him and he's absolutely stacked and he's just like a proper, he's in his roadmender's clothes. I thought, he's a really hard guy, isn't he? Oh, no. Honestly, I'm surprised they didn't have to sort of put a close sign up while they were doing it. It was sort of as if someone had gone in there and done a gangland hit on someone. I have I've never experienced pain like it. The first one, an absolute yank. Everything just pulls both to the ears, and then the second nostril. If you have one hair pulled out of a nostril, that is enough to make you cry. So the whole lot going in one go. It was just unbelievable. And I came home and I showed my wife, and she's like, "Are you all right?" And I was going, I feel the... And Rachel, she looked at my nose and she they actually look abnormally free of hair. It actually just sort of looked weird what they've done. It was almost I didn't know how much nose hair and ear hair was a feature. It was like sort of having your eyebrows removed. It was one of the most painful experiences that I have ever gone through. So since then I've been slightly nervy. In a way that was the worst bit about it. I was sort of in the chair sort of going, and they went, now you won't need that done for another 4 weeks. And I thought, I cannot make this. This can't become part of my sort of a calendar on my iPhone. I can't keep doing this. So for that reason, I'm out. Apart from that, excellent service. Very happy.
Left a healthy tip. Well done for getting the right answer. The new earwax stress test. Yes, looking at your earwax can tell you something about your state of mind. Yes, if you're spending hours collecting and analysing earwax, something's not quite right with you. Right, to you, Miles and Janie, what do you think Val McDermid is talking about here?
Children love repetition again and again. It's always easy to replicate something that requires the application of basically zero brain cells. What am I doing?
Oh, that is a tune. In a way, it's sad that she sung it because that's in now, isn't it? That is Baby Shark, it's called. And it has now become the single most watched video on YouTube.
Yes, it is the news that Baby Shark, the infuriatingly catchy children's rhyme, has become the most watched video ever on YouTube. The song has now been played over 7 billion times, overtaking the previous record holder Despacito, the Latin pop smash by singer Luis Fonsi. Why, Miles, why do you think this song about a shark with the dance moves has become so popular?
It is, in a way, heartbreaking. There are Roger Whittaker songs that are 90 or 95 times better than Baby Shark that probably have had what, maybe half the plays. It makes literally no sense. And ultimately, when aliens come to work out why this once flourishing planet ended the way they did, this presumably will be one of the biggest symptoms. But actually, maybe I'm being a bit negative. It's all right, isn't it? A bit of fun. Good luck to them. Good luck to the shark family.
What about you, Janie? I don't know how aware you are of this song.
Wayne's like stuff that are said over and over and over again. We should just embrace it and go, well, it is what it is. Folk like it. Wayne's like it. Let's just go with it and then hope that if they're ever in the sea and they see a shark, they never think it's Gonnie Dan's. That's the only thing that would worry me.
That's a really good observation. Different generations have different experiences with sharks. Olga, are you aware of the phenomenon of Baby Shark?
I think the song absolutely bangs.
What about you, Stuart? Why do you think Baby Shark is so popular?
I believe Baby Shark, it's been streamed continuously for 30,187 years. That's madness, isn't it? It's only second to Malt the Week on Dave.
Oh, dear.
No, but I do like. It's like my favourite is I liked the Macarena. Do you remember that? Dan? That song and the dance. The dance looked as if your uncle was looking for his lighter. But I liked it.
The most watched video ever on YouTube is the correct answer. 2 points go to Miles and Janie. You are tuned to Socially Distant, breaking the news on BBC Radio Scotland with me, Des Clark. Now, this round is all about who is in the news. I will play you a clip of a mystery person. All you have to do is tell me who it is. So, Miles and Janie, you're up first this time. Who is this?
You have the charisma of a damp rag and the appearance of a low-grade bank clerk.
It's Nigel Farage.
Well done. Right answer, Janie. It is Nigel Farage. He's in the news as he's applied to change the Brexit Party's name to Reform UK, promising to focus on dealing with the government's, as he says, woeful COVID response and predominantly opposing any kind of lockdown. So yes, you can say what you like about Nigel Farage. Many who see him think he has a point. Sorry, I misread that. Many who see him think he's had a pint. So, Nigel is back. Miles Jupp. What do we think? Nigel returning? Do you think there's a need for this new party?
He does probably. He probably has pumped quite a lot of money into Britain's brightly coloured V-neck industry. And that's that in a way is good, isn't it? That's a sector that he has not allowed to perish.
He also has to stop posing in his shorts on videos. That's not something we need to be seeing. We don't need to see a flabby upper thigh. Just put trousers on if you're going to make a video, Nigel. The next time you want to do a self video, stick on a pair of trousers, you crazy old clack hook.
Oh, we've now got the image of Nigel Farage in shorts.
He was in America standing beside Donald. You know, he played a good hype man to Donald, didn't he? Yeah. He stood there shouting, going, oh, I'm in charge of Britain. And all the Americans, oh, that's the guy in charge of Britain. Because if they believe Donald, they'll believe anything that, you know, that Nigel says. Oh, that's the guy that's in charge of the British thing.
Well, he's back.
Do you think Donald Trump has any idea who Nigel Farage is, though?
No. Something that's defined Farage over his career has been single-issue politics. So it was Brexit, it's now lockdown. If you were there and you could play a bit of fantasy politics and have your own single-issue party, what would that single-issue party be campaigning on?
Well, people that pull their T-shirt over their face rather than wearing a mask would get life imprisonment.
Who are these people? Miles Jupp, what would be your single-issue party?
Just because you've got your hazard lights on doesn't mean it's acceptable to double park. They know who they are, and they are a menace.
A menace to society.
They're also, sadly, the most likely people to vote for a single-issue party, so it's a pretty vicious circle.
Olga, what about yourself? Single-issue parties have become more and more popular over the years. Nigel Farage has been associated with a couple. What would be your single-issue party?
Stop pronouncing it Barcelona.
Oh, yes. Well done. 2 points to Miles and Janie. That was Nigel Farage. Right to you, Olga and Stuart. It's your turn. Who is this and why are they in the news?
And I remember being in Brazil, and it might have been the local meat that I'd been eating, but definitely I let out a fart on stage dressed as Batman.
Is it Sam Houghton?
It is Outlander star Sam Heughan, who along with his co-star Graham McTavish have teamed up to write a book about the adventures of their road trip across Scotland. Heughan said, I wanted to do this because one of the biggest draws of Outlander is of course Scotland and its clans, and they really capture the people's imagination. Are you happy to see Sam promoting Scotland, Stuart?
Well, I am, but I assume this has all been filmed pre-COVID, or the travel log would have just been name stopped in the M74 for having two people from different households inside a motor.
What about this then, Olga? I know you've spent some time in Scotland and you've got Sam Heughan from Outlander.
I do think it paints like an unrealistic picture of Scotland, because Scotland isn't all just like beautiful nature and beautiful dresses and no electricity and the plague. Do you know what I mean? The stereotype that Scotland is currently in the year 1743 is like actually really harmful.
It's not ideal, yeah.
I think it's wonderful that they're showing all the, you know, the romantic sweeping Glencoes and all the hills and dales, and men love this. You never get two women doing it. It's never, you know, like Jeanette and Isa, like we're going to take you around all the bingos and all the cafes, and we're all going to head up right up the Highlands, and I'll show you a good place to have a pee in a bush. None of that. It's like two swarthy men who are wild hair in the wind. You never get Isa going, right up by Inverness, there's a woman does a rare home perm. She can do that herself. No, it's always two men.
What bit of Scottish culture do you think people not know enough about?
I think just how ordinary people stand at bus stops and talk to you and laugh about really dark things. Like, people will say things like, oh, that's my other kidney failed. You're like, why are you laughing? Why do people laugh at really weird, sad things? I spend my whole life as a comedian trying to make people laugh, and then I meet people that say, my dog died yesterday, and that's my sister had her electricity cut off. I'm like, that's not funny.
I toured my Edinburgh show and it never went well at all. I had a bad night and it was all about becoming an orphan. And a woman said to me, son, that was terrible, but at least your parents weren't alive to witness that.
Well done. Sam Hewn is the right answer, and 2 points go to Olga and Stuart. And so it's time now for our final quickfire round, which is all about deciphering the numbers in the news. I'll read out a headline. All the teams have to do is fill in the blanks. So get ready, teams. When we run out of time, you'll hear this.
We knew this was going to go long.
There we go. That is Joe Biden there talking about his nighttime trips to the toilet. Right, let's go, teams. Here we go. What in Scotland has grown 17% in the last 18 months?
It's definitely my waistline. I'm a huge flump.
What in Scotland has grown 17% in the last 18 months?
Is it calls to the police to say that there are men with masks on in the all-night garage?
What in Scotland has grown 17% in the last 18 months?
Is it earwax?
I can give you the correct answer. It is that the Scottish games industry has grown 17% in the last 18 months. What has happened for the first time in 94 years?
94 years ago, American women couldn't vote. This year, they just don't want to.
What has happened for the first time in 94 years?
The Queen's asked for a payment holiday.
Could one be furloughed, please? What has happened for the first time in 94 years?
Is it finally Big Bin Day?
What has happened for the first time in 94 years?
Someone remembered the name of the Scottish Labour leader.
Marks and Spencer has suffered their first loss in profit for the first time in 94 years.
We knew this was going to go long.
Oh, that's it. That's the klaxon. Joe has Biden. It means at the end of the quiz, our winners this week are Olga Koch and Stuart Mitchell.
Yay!
And commiserations to Miles Jupp and Janie Godley. Those are the results for now, but some postal votes are still coming in, so we will see. And we'll leave you with the breaking news. Breaking news, Justin. NASA has re-established contact with the 43-year-old Voyager 2 probe, which is 11.6 billion miles away from the Earth. Having processed all the data about Earth in 2020, though, the spacecraft says it's not that fussed about coming back anytime soon. DNA analysis has shown that dogs were the first pets to be domesticated 11,000 years ago, although the study also found that cats had been ignoring humans since about 50,000 years earlier. And Santa will be visiting children virtually this year as grottos close and Christmas events are cancelled because of coronavirus. He'll still be making a list and checking it twice, as he needs to provide that to the Scottish Government Test and Protect. The news is broken. I've been Des Clark. Goodbye.
Yay!